Hi everyone, my name is Braylon and I wanted to sit down with you today to talk to you a bit about Jupiter retrograde. So I have my little planet here, Jupiter. This is going to be helping us really tap into these energies and the different meanings to what this may be having an effect on our lives like. What is this going to do? What is the Jupiter retrograde? What can we, look forward to? What will be some of the challenges? All of that kind of stuff, okay? So I have Jupiter here with us. I love holding this little planet. Jupiter is our largest planet. So I have all the little planets minus Pluto, of course. And Jupiter is a really, really decent size. Like these planets do a really good job at showing the different sizes. I have little itty bitty Mercury and little medium Venus, and Jupiter is definitely a holdable planet. He is large and in charge. So I just wanted to sit down today, guys, and kind of give my interpretation of, what I think this transit is going to bring to our lives. I thought it was very interesting that Jupiter is going retrograde. He went retrograde on March 8th, but it was pretty late March 8th. I believe it was like around 8 p.m. California time, and I live in Michigan, so for Michigan, I believe it was around 11 or so. I'm not sure, but I know that Jupiter went retrograde yesterday, and he is retrograde right now. So, I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys. I have a few notes here just, to keep myself guided. And I also have a few things that I just like to channel and things that I would just like to incorporate in my reading. So, Jupiter retrograde. Jupiter is our largest planet, you guys, in our solar system. And Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius and the co-ruler of Pisces. Let's see here. Jupiter is known as the king of the gods, and Jupiter rules our higher mind, you guys. So when I think of Jupiter, I definitely think more Sagittarius. I think most Pisces are very Neptunian. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and very anciently, they call Jupiter the ancient ruler of Pisces. So long ago, Jupiter was considered the ruler of Pisces as well, the co-ruler. So what do Pisces and Sagittarius have in common? Well, they square each other on the zodiac wheel back here. Pisces and Sagittarius make this kind of 90-degree angle, I believe, but they square each other. So that's an interesting aspect there. And the one thing that Jupiter and that Pisces and Sagittarius have in common is our belief in things, right? The only difference really is that, of course, Sagittarius is a fire sign, Pisces is a water sign. But Sagittarius, they're all about the expansion of sight. That's why I think more Sagittarius when I think Jupiter, because Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Sagittarius is the ninth house of philosophy, so it's all about taking this kind of philosophical approach to life, towards our beliefs, towards what we can gain higher knowledge towards, right? And then, of course, a lot of astrologers mention how Jupiter is the planet of luck and Jupiter is the planet of good fortune. And just personally, I believe that Jupiter is associated with luck and good fortune because this is an optimistic planet. This is a planet that has a relatively good energy, just like Sagittarius. Sagittarius is always energetic. They're always kind of this energetically hopeful kind of individuals, right? So Jupiter kind of takes on that same energy. It has a very positive vibe to it. So it's all about, our faiths and our beliefs. Now, this planet has gone retrograde, so some of you may not know what retrograde means. Now, when I first started studying astrology, one of the first planets that I realized went retrograde was, of course, Mercury, which we have going retrograde in a couple weeks on the 22nd. So Mercury is one of those planets that go retrograde most. It goes retrograde at 4 times a year or something like that. And then we have Jupiter, and I just read this last night while I was studying about this. Jupiter goes retrograde every 3 years, I want to say, or, no, not 3 years. It was like 13 months or 19 months, something like that. So I'm like, wow, Jupiter goes retrograde, like, not too often, but the whole act, guys, of this retrograde, the very word retro means to move backwards, right? Have you ever heard someone say we have to look at this in retrospection or look at this in retrospect? Well, what that means is that you want to look at a series of past events. So when a planet moves retrograde, what it essentially is doing is it's planets have their own natural orbits, and they orbit and they orbit and they orbit, but sometimes a planet begins to slow down until it's actually at a halt. And when this planet halts, well, to the human eye, it seems as if this planet is moving backwards, right? And astrologers have that debatable. They say that Mercury doesn't really move backwards. It just appears to be moving backwards. But the energy that the planet is giving off is a very retro, past movement, slowing down. Let's take a minute here. So Jupiter is essentially slowing down in the sky, and it is coming to a halt. Instead of it moving forward and going on its natural course of action, it's slowing down. And I'm looking at this as in an energetic way. Like, wow, I feel like it's so interesting that these planets kind of slow down, and kind of stop moving. And you got to think why that is. And when this happens in astrology, at least for me, I like to think about what that planet means and what that planet is doing in the sky, where that planet is in our chart, right? Where that planet is doing this certain thing in our life, because then we could have a better understanding as of how this is going to affect us. So just in general here in the intro video, I wanted to talk a little bit about Jupiter and what I think Jupiter means and what I think it means for Jupiter to be going retrograde. And then I wanted to talk to you guys individually, each of the 12 signs, real quickly. Just, I'm hoping that it can be about 10 minutes of conversation, so that altogether these can be about 30 minutes or so. Yeah, I just wanted to take a look at collectively where this energy is going to be happening. Now, Jupiter is going retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. So, of course, all the Scorpios watching, that means that Jupiter is going retrograde in your first house of self. So Scorpios are kind of experiencing this firsthand. And then we have Sagittarius that's experiencing this in their 12th house, and then we have Pisces who's experiencing this in their 9th house. So all these different energies are going to play out in different unique ways for all of us. But this is significant, guys. Very, very significant for this to be happening. It's interesting to me that the planets have all been direct for about 3 months. A lot of the astrologers that I watch have been talking about that, how they really don't have any knowledge or memory of the planets being direct for this long of a time. So we had a good chunk of time for all these energies to be forward moving. And I do hope that all of us took advantage of that. I hope that we, took those energies and used those influences to really drive us and to move us forward, because now we have some planets kind of moving backwards. And this does affect our lives, guys. So Jupiter is the first retrograde of 2018, making it very interesting. It's like all this light is being shed on Jupiter until Mercury joins the retrograde energy on the 22nd. Now, Jupiter is more of a higher octave. It's interesting that Gemini is opposite of Sagittarius, right? Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So Gemini and Sagittarius are opposites because we have this whole third house and this 9th house energy. Now, the third house is the lower mind, right? We think of communication. So Mercury rules the lower mind, kind of. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. So I just thought it was interesting that no matter what way you look at it, Mercury is opposite this very, this belief energy, right? Virgo is opposite Pisces, which is the co-ruler of Sagittarius, of Jupiter. So Gemini is opposite of Jupiter, Virgo is opposite of Jupiter. So whatever way you look at it, Mercury is kind of the opposite shadow energy of Jupiter. And I think that's because Mercury controls more of the thoughts and communication, kind of the lower mind, the mind that we're used to operating at, but then there's an ascension that happens, right? That's a very Jupiter word, ascension. Because to ascend is to essentially expand, right? And Jupiter is all about that. So when you gain higher knowledge, when Mercury kind of takes steroids, it becomes this Jupiterian figure. And Jupiter is all about, philosophy. It's all about getting to the deeper meaning of things. It's all about our beliefs. Now, our beliefs, that's a different area of our chart, right? It's the 9th house. Jupiter rules the 9th house of our beliefs, of higher education, wisdom, all of these words that mean to simply expand your knowledge, right? Jupiter is all about the higher mind. Mercury is the lower mind. Jupiter is the higher mind. So at the end of this month, you guys, we're going to have our higher mind and our lower mind together, not in the same house or anything, but they're going to be retrograding back into the past. Now, one of the things that I was led to write down when I was kind of taking notes and getting into this kind of Jupiter feel is Back to the Future. Now, I have not watched Back to the Future as thoroughly as I should, but I'm actually planning on doing so. I think all of us should kind of, even those of you who are kind of from the older generation who really know Back to the Future, and if I did, I would probably incorporate that a lot here in this kind of video, but I know enough about Back to the Future, and just saying that kind of is interesting, like Back to the Future, like that's kind of moving forward and backwards at the same time, going back to the future. So I don't know why I was led to say that or led to write that down here, but I think this Jupiter retrograde is going to have a lot to do with going back to the future. So very, very oxymoron there, guys, and it just shows you how expansive Jupiter really is. Jupiter is this planet. Anything that Jupiter touches, it expands, right? It expands it. So Jupiter going retrograde is kind of, I feel that it is expanding our past in different areas of our life. This is Jupiter's way of kind of saying, okay, guys, so Saturn and Sagittarius, since 2000, Saturn was in Sagittarius, I do believe, from 2014 to 2018, I believe. But for the last 3 years or so, guys, we had Saturn in Sagittarius, and this energy is kind of being brought back up because Saturn left Scorpio in 2000, well, it was in Scorpio 2012, and then it entered Sagittarius. So that energy, I believe, is being brought back up here, because I believe during the last 3 years of our life, we had a lot of karmic beliefs form. We had a lot of karmic knowledge. We gained a lot of karmic wisdom. And what I mean by that is that it was just simply on our karmic path to learn these things. I believe that Saturn in Sagittarius definitely aligned us with some of the beliefs that we were actually karmically meant to align with, right? So here comes Jupiter, the ruling planet of all this energy. And I believe that when Jupiter slows down like this, that it's really a test on our faith. Okay, we didn't realize that, right? We just, as humans, we just so effortlessly, well, it's not always effortlessly, but if you think about what it is that you believe, right? What it is that you really believe. Now, what does it even mean to believe in something? Well, to me, when I was kind of reflecting on this energy, it means to have faith in something. It means to, and Jupiter is the planet of sight. Sagittarius is the house of sight. Seeing is believing, right? But then Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, because that's the energy. When you get to the 12th house, it's not about seeing. It's not about seeing, it's feeling. So I think beliefs kind of mix those two energies together. Sag and Pisces, science and spirituality. All of these things are kind of being touched on here with this Jupiter retrograde, because Jupiter wants to know why we believe in the things that we believe in, and if these are authentic beliefs. And it's good. It's good for our belief systems to be checked like this, because like I said, for some of us, it's so effortless. Some of our beliefs have been taught to us. Some of our beliefs have been forced on us. Some of our beliefs, and a good example of this, guys, is that some of us are actually walking around with the belief that we are less than what we are. With the belief, sometimes there's false beliefs, right? So a false belief is another thing that comes up here. It's time for us to look at these energies in retrospection. Why do I believe what I believe? What has caused me to believe these things? So our foundation, the foundation of our beliefs are being refined. They're being looked at in a greater way. Jupiter is kind of disappearing a little bit, guys. I kind of felt the need to say when I woke up today, where's Jupiter? And what I was going to say to you guys is that we so effortlessly, we go through lives and we're like these human sponges. We learn, just like a philosopher. Just like Jupiter, where life is an adventure that we're studying. It's a science project. This is kind of an experiment, you know what I mean? And so during those experiments, when you're writing these notes and you mix this with this, and oh, you had an explosion, let me write that down. Well, your beliefs are kind of shaped and formed around these ideas, around these, the evidence that you have, right? And so it really brings the question to me, should evidence and beliefs go in the same department? Now, when you're talking about the 9th house, yes, sure. When you're speaking in a scientific term, scientists are all about proving things. But here's the thing. When you really, truly believe in something, do you need proof? So I have a post that every time the planets do something major, like Mercury retrogrades, new moons, full moons, and of course Jupiter retrograde, I had to post, a little bit. I like to keep my friends and peers, like online peers, updated. My social media is used for mainly astrology and enlightenment and positive reinforcement, things like that. I like to use that as a platform, to kind of spread positive energy and stuff like that. So, on my post on Instagram and on my post on Facebook, I was talking about Jupiter, I usually just channel these things. I usually just pick up my phone and I'm typing out whatever messages come to me. I kind of channel it. I do a little bit of studying here and there. And it's interesting that I say that because Jupiter involves both of those things. Beliefs involve both of those things. A little bit of studying, a little bit of experimenting, but then sometimes it's just a feeling that you have. Hello, Pisces. Hello, Sag. Pisces and Sagittarius together, man, is there magic that happens when they come together, because you have literally Jupiter together. You have Pisces, you have the 9th house and the 12th house. When you travel around the zodiac wheel from Sagittarius season to Pisces season, little do you know, you are developing a strong belief in something, in yourself, in your foundation, in your emotion, in your lifestyle, wherever this energy is hitting for you. I believe what takes place between the 9th house and the 12th house is a very obscene amount of faith and belief. You move from seeing and sight to feeling and emotion. So it's just really, really interesting to talk about all this. And another thing is that, back to what I was saying about the poster, whatever, a lot of questions came up. Like, one of the questions I put was, why is it that we need to see where we're going before leaving? You ever think about that? Why is it that we need to see? And then it reminds me of that Martin Luther King quote. Belief, well, I think he said having faith is taking that first step without seeing the rest of the staircase. So if you really want to just use that as a metaphor, like think of yourself, and this is another thing. I've always used that analogy myself too. He was a Capricorn, Martin Luther King. So, which means Sagittarius, it was his 12th house. Interesting. But when I think about beliefs, when I think about having faith in something, I always picture this ladder in my head. I picture this old wooden ladder that's been out in somebody's shed for a long time. And, one day they just, they need a ladder for something. So they're like, I got a ladder out back, And they see this, they come face to face with this ladder. And, their belief in it, their trust in it, is a little bit shaky, so what do? It's kind of like jumping into water, right? You don't trust that you're afraid, right? So essentially belief is the opposite of fear. Belief is having hope and trust and faith in something, right? So when you break these energies down, it's like, I believe in you. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's like, I have faith in you. That's what it means. When you hear that, or when someone says, I believe in you, or when they say, I don't believe that, I don't believe that to be true. Well, it means that you don't think it's true. You don't have faith that that's true. So I think beliefs and faith go hand in hand, and I think the opposite of belief is doubt. I think the opposite of belief is fear. Fears and doubts, they go right together. What we fear is what we doubt. Sometimes we doubt that we fear things. Sometimes we doubt we're fearing things because we have doubts in them, okay? So this is what's coming up, guys. This is what this Jupiter retrograde is all about, I think. I believe, when the planet is moving forward, what they symbolize is what they symbolize: expansion, higher knowledge, philosophy, the higher mind, wisdom, education, educating yourself, luck, good fortune, whatever. So when we take that meaning and move it backwards, I don't want to say that it means the opposite, because I kind of think about tarot and I don't do reversal cards often, but let's use the Hanged Man, right? And that's an awful one to use because he's already upside down, but the Hanged Man right side up means enlightenment. It means looking at something from a different point of view. All right, I should have used like a more extreme card, right? But that one just came to mind for some reason. And I think that's a Neptune card. But if you turn that meaning around, it means maybe not looking at something from a different way. Maybe the extreme need to look at something from a different way. Maybe it means that you're no longer suspended on an idea. So anyway, my point is that when I sit and think about these energies, just as my own I'm kind of a novice astrologer, right? And not really. Like, I love astrology. I've been studying it for a year now. but there's more to learn. And I go off of what I feel. I like to channel things. That's where I get all my information. Of course I study a little bit, but sometimes I just have this higher knowledge. I have Jupiter in Sagittarius, so that's in my 12th house. So I'm all about belief. I'm all about learning more. And Jupiter, I did read that Jupiter is how we're going to be of service, how we want to help other people, because it's the expansion planet. So wherever Jupiter is in your chart, it's essentially expanding. So for me, no wonder I'm doing this channel and doing tarot cards, because my 12th house and my 11th house are expanded, right? So spiritual friends are especially good for me, and I hope that that's what expands in my life. But backing up a little bit. Speaking of backing up, thank you, universe. I kind of forgot my thought there, but we were literally talking about backing up. So, and we were talking about the reverse tarot cards and stuff like that. So to me, I think of what Jupiter means moving forward. Jupiter is a very expansive, higher knowledge type of thing. So when we say Jupiter is slowing down in the sky and Jupiter is moving backwards, well, I don't think it means the opposite of what Jupiter traditionally means. So it doesn't mean bad luck. A lot of people think, oh, well, Jupiter means good luck and good fortune. So, oh no, Jupiter's going retrograde. We're going to have bad luck. We're not going to have any good fortune. I don't believe that. I believe that that could be true for those who manifest that for themselves. But, I'm really feeling strange. I don't think Jupiter's that simple. Sure, it may mean that we have to try harder. It may mean that you won't find 20 bucks on the ground tomorrow. It may mean that you have to do something to align yourself. So I think luck is going to be, it's almost like Jupiter. I don't mean to, Jupiter, I hope you're okay with this, but I kind of just seen a fairy in my head. A little fairy godmother that's all, and it's so interesting. I have a little crown right here that I'm looking at as I say that. So Jupiter is like this fairy godmother of luck, right? It's magic. Jupiter is magic. Jupiter is the sight. It's all like this. It's very wise planet, okay? Very, very wise planet. And for Jupiter to be moving retrograde, it means that his influence is not as strong. And it's not because Jupiter is weaker or anything. It means that the influence needs to be taken back a few steps. I think that Jupiter has been straightforward and online for so long, and we had that long period of Sagittarius having Saturn in their sign, so everything was karmic, and our luck and all of that, our good fortune was very karmically bound. So I don't think that Saturn was too comfortable within a Jupiter ruled house, because Saturn and Jupiter are kind of opposite energies. Saturn restricts, Jupiter expands, so there was that harsh energy. But I think that those were essential years of learning, what we believe in. I think our beliefs were kind of tried and restricted, but expanded at the same time. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is that as far as the challenges of this transit, I believe that this is an important time. Very, very important that we keep the faith. If you all of a sudden start doubting something during this is the next 4 months. Another thing I meant to mention is that this planet is retrograde until July 10th. So that's 4 long, long, long months of the planet of expansion, the planet of luck, the planet of higher knowledge, the planet of philosophy in our beliefs, definitely slowing down a bit. A little bit harder to access, right? But that's why you go within, because we all have our own natal Jupiters, right? Some of you may be born when Jupiter was in retrograde. And, I read that when Jupiter is in retrograde in a person's chart, they may have a difficult time expanding. So guys, it's just time that we put in our own work. Jupiter is always here to expand. And I think we take Jupiter for granted, like our beliefs are something that's so personal to us, right? That's why it's in the 9th house so we're passionate about our beliefs, we're emotional about our beliefs. Gosh, have you ever tried to bring up some kind of religious conversation with somebody, and if you don't agree, it gets crazy, right? Some of our main wars have been fought over religion, and that is so weird to say that, because Mars is currently hanging out in Sagittarius with the moon right now, and golly, like, religion is just, I know that it serves a good purpose or whatever, but you want to evolve into this kind of spirituality, like get on board, because religion is kind of man-made. It's just so interesting that the 9th house is both the house of science and beliefs, because those two things didn't really agree back in the day. When people used to, it was either the Big Bang Theory or God, or is it evolution or Christianity, and it's like, guys, it's both. Like, it's everything. You're supposed to expand on everything. Why do you think Sagittarius and Pisces are ruled by the same planet? Because we're supposed to expand equally. Science and spirituality go hand in hand. The astrology tells it all. Pisces and Sagittarius are ruled by the same planet because we are supposed to expand equally when it comes to science and spirituality. They go hand in hand. Science, that's why I love astrology. Astrology is spiritual, astrology is scientific, astrology is factual. I mean, go outside and look at the stars. Like, they're there. The moon is here. The moon is full on the 31st. If you go outside on the 31st, guarantee the moon's going to be full in Libra. Like, science, I love mixing science and beliefs. Astrology is my calling, and I just appreciate it so much. And for this planet to be going retrograde, guys, I feel that we're going to have to put in a little bit more work. We're going to have to work a little bit harder. Things aren't just going to appear for us. We're not just going to, it's kind of necessary. It's a necessary slowing down because Jupiter wants to know who's going to stay optimistic for the next 4 months. In the next 4 months, are you going to be, do you really need help? Because listen, guys, when you truly believe in something, when you truly have faith in something, you don't need to see the end results. And that's the whole Jupiter scientific Jupiter belief. It's are you a scientist or do you believe in this? Do you need to mix these two beakers to know that they don't go well together? Are you just gonna, it's kind of it's a chance. Like, that's why Jupiter is the planet of good luck and fortune, because I just picture a scientist that literally didn't blow up in his lab because, because he was lucky and because he just has a lot of good fortune, So it's important for this planet of good fortune and luck to kind of slow down sometimes. The universe thought it was necessary for between March 8th and for July 10th for this planet to move retrograde. Our beliefs are slowing down. Our faith in things are going to be challenged. We are going to experience certain doubts, okay? But Jupiter wants to know who's going to expand these doubts. Are you going to expand beyond the doubts? Because doubts come up to show you, hey, what if it doesn't work out? You don't know. What if this step isn't real? Well, oh well, I have faith. And you know what, guys? I'm going to tell you, as a Pisces, my faith gets me places all the time. Like, it doesn't matter if I go against the physical. Like, listen, Virgo and Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, the reason why we're opposites is because, well, there has to be balance, first of all. But what I was going to say is that by nature, I go against reality. Because I am the opposite of Virgo. I'm the opposite of the 6th house. So as a Pisces, being co-ruled by Jupiter, being ruled by Neptune and Jupiter, it makes me a really, really weird person of belief. You ever see a Pisces believe in something? If a Pisces, you gotta be careful, because if you're a Pisces and you believe in something, it is going to happen. This is all about manifestation, you guys. How do you manifest something? Well, you believe in it. You see it happening before it happens. That's what a spiritual person will tell you. You want to align yourself with abundance? Well, then you need to behave like a person who already has abundance. It's like aligning yourself with something before it's there. That's the trick. That's the trick to the universe. How do you think we all came here? Is because something believed in it enough. Something saw it happening before it happened. And that gets me talking about visions, right? Jupiter can be the planet of vision. It's the planet of sight. It's the planet of foresight. When you talk about Pisces and Sagittarius together, it's the planet of seeing before. So you talk about deja vu, if you ever experienced deja vu, Jupiter is all that. It's about having the higher knowledge. Like, I feel that this is extremely strange territory to be talking about, but it makes sense to me. Do not doubt yourself. Do not doubt yourself. If Jupiter will show you what it is that you shouldn't believe in any longer. So some of us, okay, Taurus, I'm going to use you as an example. Taurus is going through a Jupiter retrograde in their 7th house of relationships. Some of you Tauruses out there, you could have been keeping the belief in this relationship. You could have been keeping it. Oh, it's okay. I just believe we'll fix this. I just believe it. I just believe, I believe. But Jupiter goes retrograde, and some of you, not all of you, so don't freak out, Taurus. Okay, I know you guys are really loyal lovers. I have a Taurus moon, okay? But for some of you Tauruses out there, if you have had a false belief in a relationship, because sometimes we can create false beliefs. We are our own gods, right? We are made in the image of the Creator. We are in a universe. So universes create things all the time. Supernovas, dark matter, universes are infinite, right? So sometimes we expand beyond infinity. And when you expand beyond like I asked it on my Facebook post, I said, what happens when you expand beyond the expandable? Well, you are very wise and you come back knowing the unknowable. You come back, and that's exactly what it feels like talking to you guys, is that I'm explaining things that only make sense if you're able to expand. So if you guys are Mercury ruled, and I'm not saying that Mercury's closed-minded, but Mercury's more about facts. Facts and beliefs, they're different. They're kind of cousins. They kind of get along sometimes. But when a person truly believes in something, they don't need to know for sure, right? I heard that on a movie before. I heard that on some kind of movie quote or something. But that's also something that just came from me, is that when you believe in something, you don't need to read it. You don't need to see it or feel it. You just know. So as a Pisces, sometimes I literally can feel an energy around me. I'm like, I know there's an energy around me, or I know that person is going through this. And then you have people that gaslight you. So I want to mention there, be careful of gaslighting around this time. And if for those of you who don't know what gaslighting means, it's someone who's essentially manipulating you. They know what they're doing. They know that you're true. They know that you're telling the truth, and that they believe you, but they want to make you feel crazy just for the sheer fact of manipulation. Like, this is when someone knows that you're, like, you guys literally know it together. Happens in relationships a lot. Like, just like, it's like if I was talking about astrology to a person who literally believes in astrology too, but they just want to gaslight me. It's like they take your energy. No, astrology ain't real, man. Even though they read their horoscope every night, they're like, man, whatever, that shit ain't real. Yeah, okay, you're gaslighting me. Like, gaslighting is something that happens to our beliefs. And I feel that it's interesting that this is coming up, because I believe that we should be very careful of gaslighting over this time, because our planet that symbolizes our higher knowledge, well, it's going to be harder to reach, you guys. That's what Jupiter retrograde means. It's going to be a little bit harder to reach. And, that brings up the ultimate test of who is really going to be about it, who's going to still be doing this, So I'm going to talk to you guys all about the different areas. I'm going to go through all the 12 signs in the videos and talk about the areas that this is happening individually for you, for Aries, for Taurus, for Gemini, for Cancer, and So this is happening in opposites for all of us, and I'm going to just talk a little bit about the houses that this is happening in. Right? For Aries, this is happening in their 8th house. For Taurus, this is happening in their 7th house. Gemini, their 6th house. So those energies mean different things, and we can kind of hone in and talk about this a little bit more. So that'll be a little bit more clear to you guys, because this is a time where our sight can be a bit blurred. Now, it's so interesting that this happened in Pisces season, where, our emotional beliefs are coming up, where completions are happening. I'm telling you, this happened for a reason, for Jupiter to go retrograde in Pisces season. Our faith is going to be tested and tried, okay? Jupiter is moving backwards and slowing down, so that we have to put in more work when it comes to what we believe, okay? And it's important that we stay optimistic and energetically hopeful about this, because this is like a dissipating faith. Our faith is going to be a little bit, it's to test people. Do you believe in this because you have proof? Or then there's the real ones that believe because they feel it. They believe because, see, there's two different kinds of belief. Some of us believe things because it's what we've been shown and taught our whole life. Some of us believe things because it's what we've saw. It's because it's what we, but I'm saying there's other things that you believe in your heart and soul that you really have no knowledge. And that's interesting that Jupiter is the planet of beliefs and higher knowledge. Those two things are that's a dangerous combination, because unless you look at it in a way like your knowledge comes from a higher source. Because, see, people don't understand that knowledge isn't factual. Knowledge is just what a person knows. We can bring knowledge with us from 7 lifetimes ago. And maybe in this lifetime, that knowledge isn't here. Maybe some of us are from different planets, and what we know is not factual here. But how does that mean that it's not factual in another area? Does it mean that it's not factual in another realm? Because in the dream realm, I can be at 7 places at once. But here, matter and gravity and shit doesn't work like that. So you want to be careful of what you think is facts, because facts leave no room for possibilities. So, when we step into this place of doubt, which I believe some of us are going to be challenged with, this place of doubt, this place of fear, now that Jupiter is a little bit invisible, now that Jupiter is harder to reach, farther away from us, moving backwards, you want to be careful when you're dealing with these doubts. You want to ask yourself why, because doubts are what we believe easiest in. Isn't that crazy? Our fears are what we believe the most. The negativity, you ever realize that we believe the negative things that people say about us? It's easier to believe the negative things that people say than it is to believe the positive things. And that's coming up now, guys, in this video, because Jupiter is literally bringing this all to the forefront. What are our doubts? What are our beliefs? What is the relationship between those two things, and why? Is there any kind of higher knowledge that we can gain from it? Is there a wiser approach that we can take, or something more that we can learn? Now, something I haven't mentioned yet, guys, well, I've mentioned it a little bit with the whole Back to the Future thing. It's going to be trippy. It's going to be trippy because this isn't like Mercury. Mercury goes backwards and it's literally a blast from the past. But since this is such an expansive planet, Jupiter is moving back into our past, not only to, go over, and this is it. Jupiter is going to cover areas over the last 4 or 5 years. Anything that you've, developed a belief in or developed faith in over the past 4 or 5 years, Jupiter is going to go back in time and show you it from a different angle. It's going to expand it for you. So that's why Jupiter is such a badass planet that even when it travels retrograde, it's expansive still. It's even more expansive, honestly. Its influence is even more expansive because it's almost like a parent that chills out, and lets this kid, I picture a baby walking and kind of falling down and that parent's right there to catch him, right? Oh, it's okay. How's that kid ever going to believe in itself? So Jupiter is kind of like our crutches, but you should never have a crutch when it comes to your belief. You should just be able to walk. You should just have faith. You should just try and keep faith, because faith will get you a long way, guys. And it's all about these doubts that we have, and these doubts are going to come up in different areas. We're going to cover that in the personal videos. So Jupiter's traveling back into the past, you guys. And that when our parent, we're walking on our own now. We're these 3-year-olds or however old we are when we start walking, and, we want to do it ourselves, and it's time to prove ourselves to the universe that we do believe in what we believe in, and that our beliefs are an expansion of us. They are an ascension of us. We are evolving and ascending. We are ascending, and our beliefs either help us grow or they diminish us. I know, and it's none of my business, but some people believe in certain things that, our beliefs are powerful over us. What we believe shapes us. What we believe is what we base our entire life off of. Why do you think this is the biggest planet of the solar system? It has a lot of influence over our lives. So you want to ask yourself, most importantly, if this confused you, ask yourself what it is you believe in and what got you there. Do you believe in it because it was taught to you? Do you believe in it because you want to pay attention to the answer? Why do I believe in this? Why do I have faith in this person, place, or thing? And the answer to that is going to be essentially what ascends you. You're going to be a lot wiser when you ask yourself these questions. Why is it that I need to see where I'm going? Doesn't that kind of, it makes the journey pointless, right? Sometimes you can't see what's up ahead and you just have to carry on and walk on your own and have faith in the journey, have faith in the universe, have faith in yourself, have faith in your own strength. These things are coming up, you guys, because Jupiter is slowing down. And, like I said, our faith and beliefs will be challenged by doubt and by fear. And you want to look out for gaslighting too. I believe that we are going backwards in time. Our higher minds are pausing and going backwards to expand on what we may have missed, We're going backwards to gain wisdom. And Jupiter is going in these certain areas because we need to grow. Some of these areas that we need growth in need more time. It's very important. These things are very important that we could have missed. Jupiter can be so expansive sometimes that we could expand beyond things that we could have learned a little bit more about. That's the only thing about, science and beliefs, is that we expand and we learn more and we learn more and we learn more, and more of the puzzle comes together. And there may have been something that we missed. So I love retrogrades and I embrace retrogrades because there's obviously something that the universe is trying to show us from the past, or it's not necessarily the past, it's just something that's not in front of us on the journey. Jupiter says that there is something behind us that we overlooked. There's something that we can learn from our past. There's something we can learn from what has already occurred, and it's time to look at that in a different way. It's time to look at that. We've grown a lot, over the past years. So it's time to take who we are now and who we are because of these beliefs and because of our faith, and look at this in a different way, because we're not the same people, so we're not going to be looking at it in the same perspective. Our perspective has been expanded. Our knowledge, we know more, we see more, we believe in different things. I bet our beliefs have changed. If you think about what you believed as a child, Santa, do you guys still believe in Santa Claus? Because, I'm sorry, Santa, but I have not gotten any presents, and I don't, holidays or whatever they are, but, that's just an example. Do you believe in the Tooth Fairy still? So it's so interesting that our belief is ruled by a mutable fire sign and a mutable water sign, because our feelings change a lot. The fact that Jupiter is ruled by mutable planets, it just goes to show you that our beliefs change throughout life. Our philosophy, our higher knowledge, it has to be something that can change. Because think about it. Think of Jupiter was ruled, and that's interesting. Mercury is also ruled by mutable signs, Gemini and Virgo, because what we think often changes. And it's interesting to think about Mercury and Jupiter together, because our lower mind and our higher mind, our thoughts and our beliefs kind of mix together. They're friends a little bit. So our beliefs are essentially shaped by around what we think and what we believe, what we think and what we believe, what we believe we think, what we think we believe. Okay? Astrology, man, it's wild. And it makes sense if you just take a minute and just kind of look at these things, take some time to discuss these things, these different energies. It's interesting that Jupiter is ruled by a mutable energy. And that just goes to show you that what we believe changes and it mutates over time. And you want to be careful, because sometimes that's a negative thing. Sometimes others can impose our beliefs. Sometimes others impose their beliefs on us, right? You have those people that, and I don't disrespect any of these religions, but I don't feel a positive energy from anybody who tries to force a belief on you. Jupiter is not about forcing anything. It's about the natural expansion of things. You ever have a really deep, expansive conversation with somebody, and even if you believe in different things, you still learn? That's what Jupiter is about. Jupiter is so expansive that you can disagree. You can move backwards. You can go back to the past and look at something differently without the harsh feelings, without a war. We do have Mars and Sagittarius and stuff like that. But what we believe in, it shouldn't add aggression. It should happen naturally. Our beliefs, guys, if you're wondering, well, what do I believe? What is my faith? Some people find themselves troubled when they don't have a religion. When they don't believe in something, it's like, you believe in something. Some of you are agnostic. Some people believe in many different things. I believe in everything. I believe that if there's a human somewhere thinking it, that somewhere it exists. So I wouldn't worry too much about your beliefs changing, but more so them just evolving into something that is a more accurate depiction of your life now. It's important that what we believe in over time, there's 1-year-old us and 2-year-old us and 21-year-old us and 67-year-old us. And if we take those different points of our lives, what we believe in is different. It might stay the same, but it might change. A lot of us feel like what we believe in should stay the same forever, but no. What we believe in, the human experience is all about expansion. It's all about growing and expanding and ascending. We came here to ascend. We came here to experience growth and lessons and karma and energy. And guys, I just feel like this is a time for us to look at all that in just a little bit different of a way. And I promise you, come July, over the next few months, we're really going to be expanding in different areas of our lives, and it's for the better. It's because we needed a little bit more time. There's something in the past, something behind us that Jupiter is going to expand. Okay? And, you know, this is happening all in our 8th house. So it may happen beneath the surface. It may happen a little bit secretive like. It may happen intimately, you know, because Jupiter is in Scorpio. Jupiter is going to be in Scorpio until next year. So when Jupiter is in the 8th house, it expands in an intimate way. It expands at an emotional level. It expands at an intensity. It's, you know, this is really, really rocking awesome, you guys. It's pretty awesome. So this is what I think about Jupiter retrograde. I do hope that this information was kind of cool, and this is just what I think. This is just what my mind came up with today. There's always more to say, and I'm gonna save that for your individual videos. Those are gonna be like 10 minutes or so, guys, or maybe 15-20 minutes long, so that these videos can be about an hour long altogether. So that's what I have for you, and this is Jupiter, you guys. Jupiter's retrograde. And this is what I think it's gonna, you know, these are the energies that I believe this is what I think, I guess. And we can expand a little bit further on that in your individual videos, where I can talk to the individual sign, you know, a little bit more about the actual house that it's expanding. Now, as far as your natal charts, hit me up. We can talk about what Jupiter means in certain houses, but this is general. In general for Gemini, in general for Pisces, in general for Aries, all these different signs, okay? So, hey Jupiter, thanks for going retrograde, bud. Let's see what you got. Expand us. All right, guys, I will talk to you in the videos for your individual sign. See ya. Hi, Aries. Me and Jupiter are here today to talk to you a bit about this Jupiter retrograde happening in the sky. So I'm going to spend a couple minutes here just talking to you about what I think this energy can have an effect over Aries in general, right? So Aries, Jupiter has been chilling out in your 8th house, okay? Scorpio. Scorpio is the 8th house of the universe and the 8th house of Aries. So this is the house that has to do with transformation. This is the house that has to do with death and rebirth. It's the house of intimacy, and this is the house of sex. It's the house of pleasure. Well, the 5th house is the house of pleasure, but I don't know, I guess intimate pleasure, because the 5th house is more so fun. It can be the house of soulmates, but this is intimate pleasure, sexual pleasure, okay? That's why I said that. Now, Jupiter, if you watch my intro video, talks all about Jupiter and how this is the planet of expansion. So for you, Aries, I believe this next 4 months of Jupiter retrograde, this has everything to do with going back into the past a little bit and discovering where it is, what are your sexual beliefs, right? What are your sexual secrets? Because Jupiter is kind of slowing down a little bit. And it's kind of going to let up on the expansion in that house for you. So, you know, whereas before your sexual secrets could have been expanded, any hidden, you know, beliefs towards sexuality or anything like that could have been really expanded. Well, it's going to kind of take a break from that there and slow down a little bit, Aries. So I think this does have a lot to do with sex for you, you know, and that can be a lot of things. This could be your sex appeal. This could be your sexual attraction to other people, but you want to focus on your beliefs towards that and any beliefs that you have sexually about yourself or others, okay? Because this is all about intimacy. So the expansion towards intimacy for you is going to take a little bit of a break. Now, I don't want you to be like, well, because Aries are very, you know, hot and passionate, right? So I don't know, some of you are like, well, what do you mean? Wait, does that mean I'm not going to be having any sex or anything like that? Well, for some of you, I don't know, maybe. But for me, I'm going to go a little deeper here with this reading for you. And I think this is about going back into the past, anything that may have happened to you sexually in your past. I think that you're going to be taking a little bit different of an approach about that for the next 4 months. And I think Jupiter is going to be kind of showing you a wiser, more scientific way to learn about these sexual beliefs. About, you know, it's Jupiter wants to know why Aries believes what they believe sexually. Some of you guys, this could be a good thing, because some of you might believe that sexually you're just not good, you're not sexually appealing, you know, and Jupiter's going to be like, wait a minute, Aries, you are hot and fine, so we need to refine these. We need to kind of clean slate. Let's travel back into the past and figure out at what point in time did you develop this belief sexually. At what point in time did you develop this belief? Because if it no longer serves you, Jupiter is going to kind of expand it out. So that could be a really good thing. Now, another thing about the 8th house is that this is the house of shared resources, right? This is the opposite house of what you have. Taurus is the house of what I have, what I value. So Scorpio, the opposite house, is all about shared values. It's about shared resources, what other people have, right? So Jupiter is going to be kind of slowing down there. I have notes here. This is about inheritances, taxes, insurance, financial, um, anything, any support that you have, like any support that you receive emotionally, financially, spiritually from others. Aries, for the next 4 months, you may feel like that has slowed down a little bit for you. You may, I want to talk a lot here about doubts. Okay, so really all these videos are going to be talking about is the areas that you need to keep. Well, you need to keep faith in a lot of different areas, Aries, but because of this retrograde, it's hitting an area of your sexual beliefs, your secrets, your shared resources, and how other people support you. So, if you have any doubts about money or taxes, inheritances, financial, emotional, spiritual support, other people's money, you want to keep the faith in these inheritances, okay? Keep the faith, because these doubts are going to come rolling in, Aries, in the house of sex, okay? So some of you are going to be doubting whether certain partners are faithful to you. You're going to be doubting whether you should have sex with certain people, and doubting these sexual secrets, doubting other people helping you. So you want to keep the faith when it comes to your sexual beliefs. If they serve you, if Jupiter shows you that these beliefs are kind of inaccurate, if you feel like these beliefs no longer jive with you, then it's time to ascend. But other than that, keep the faith when it comes to your sexual appeal. Keep the faith when it comes to the intimate version of you, Aries. You guys are the cardinal fire sign, okay? So there's a lot of passion with you, Aries. There's a lot of forward head first movement, right? So this is sexual expansion. For you, Aries, I feel that Jupiter is traveling back in time to sexually expand you. So you could be going through certain things right now that Jupiter is enhancing. Jupiter is ascending you sexually. So in 4 months or so, you could find yourself, you may gain a lot of deeper knowledge when it comes to sexual expansion. Now, this 8th house energy is typically hidden. So Aries, you're in a very interesting spot where Jupiter is actually going to expand some of these Scorpio sexual secrets to you, right? These hidden beliefs. This is all about your hidden beliefs. So what is it that you believe, Aries, that maybe you haven't been speaking out about? It's time for Aries to really, really, really evaluate what it is that they believe, and what these beliefs, are grounded in. What was the foundation of these beliefs? What do you believe sexually? What do you believe about certain secrets, intimate secrets, right? This doesn't only have to be about sex. This is just about intimacy. And you can be intimate with a person, from afar. You can be intimate with a person through words or through actions. It doesn't have to be sex. There's spiritual sex. There's emotional sex. There's all these different ways that we can sexually relate to a person. And I think that's what you're going to be kind of starting a journey on, knowing, Aries, is that this sexual expansion and this deeper knowledge of yourself and of your sexual self. And I don't want you to think that you're going to have bad luck when it comes to sexual encounters. It's just about, kind of taking a pause on that briefly, and realizing, what the real deal is about all this. Okay, that's what Jupiter in the 8th house can bring. It can bring a lot of sexual partners, but Jupiter retrograde, it's about looking at these partners in a different way. It's about looking at sex in a different way, looking at intimacy in a different way, just like how I did. Sex isn't just sex. It's not, you can be sexually attracted to a person on a physical level, on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, on a mental level. There's mental sex. Some of us have had sex with people in our mind, and it felt pretty real. So you want to be careful with that there, Aries, with people masturbating to you and you masturbating to other people, because Jupiter retrograde is really expanding that for you guys. So let's see here. Anything else for Aries with this 8th house Jupiter? It's all about gaining higher wisdom. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this death and rebirth, okay? Because this is all about death and rebirth for you guys, which is interesting because Pisces Aries cusp, which is going to be happening in a couple weeks, is the cusp of rebirth. So I think when it comes to sex, you guys are going through some sort of death and rebirth process. So that means transformation. So this is sexual transformation, you guys. This is not only a transformation, but that transformation sending you down the path of expansion, the path of ascension, which means bigger and greater. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. So the influence that Jupiter has over your 8th house right now is really expanding your house of secrets. So Aries, you guys, I don't know about Jupiter going retrograde, but Jupiter being in your 8th house is expanding everything that you keep hidden. It's expanding all your secrets and all your, your intimate information. So I don't know how that is. Aries usually speak their mind. So you guys don't really, luckily, you guys aren't really secretive people. But you just want to be careful, because if there is anything that you'd like to keep personal, Jupiter is kind of going retrograde. And so there may be things from the past that come back up sexually. Like, oh, yeah, I had sex with that person like 4 years ago. So what of it? So there could be some energy like that going on. But, guys, I'm just led to tell you that you want to keep the faith in your intimate relations with other people, unless you gain knowledge that should lead you otherwise. And I'm led to say that if there's any of you that have tax doubts or some sort of insurance, financial doubt, just know that that could be Jupiter in your 8th house of other people's money. Taxes and inheritance fall in that kind of category. So you want to just keep the faith in the emotional and spiritual support and financial support that you're gaining from other people right now. Because if you're just all of a sudden feeling like, no one's there for me, I can't trust this support, I don't think these people trust me, or I don't think these people support me in my beliefs, I don't think these people, this is an interesting area, Aries, because this is all about other people's beliefs, other people's money and emotions. So I don't know, Aries, this is slowing down a bit for you, and it's about traveling back into the past to gain a deeper knowledge and to expand on all these different topics. So Aries, I just feel that there's a transformation that's taking place with you, that before it can happen, there's something that needs to take place that you may have overlooked before. There may be something in your past that is important to go back to and expand on. So don't be surprised if something from your past, or any past beliefs from your childhood, and these can be doubts that you had in the past that you thought you overcame. So this is the return of doubts, the return of certain challenges, and that's what kind of happens when Jupiter goes retrograde. Because when Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So when you think of expansion in retrograde, well, it's looking at expansion in a different way, yes, but it's also the slowing down of expansion. So to me, the opposite of expansion is kind of restriction. So there may be a little bit of a restricting feeling when it comes to other people's money. Some of you may be intertwined with other people's money, and you're like really doubting whether they're going to pull through for you, or doubting whether they're going to support you financially, emotionally, spiritually. But I think that it's really important that you keep the faith in yourself right now, especially because you are the house of self, Aries. So it really doesn't matter the situation, whether it's dealing with other people or not. It's important for Aries to keep faith in yourself, because you are the house of self. It's almost your birthdays. So you're going to be experiencing your solar return during a fucking Jupiter retrograde. So as far as the knowledge that you gain over the next 4 months, you're going to have to work hard for it, Aries. You're going to have to, develop your own belief in things. It's important for you to know why you believe in certain things, people, places, and things. Why do you believe this? Why do you believe this? Why do you have faith in this? And when the doubts come up, make sure you're asking yourself, where are these doubts coming from? Are they coming from insecurities? Are they coming from something in my past? Because you know how easy that is, Aries, for us to just go through something and then we transform and we grow beyond that thing. Especially you, Aries. You guys are very strong individuals. You're constantly moving forward like the ram you are. Well, it's important for you, Aries, because sometimes you can ram your way through a situation, and you can move through it faster than what maybe Jupiter wanted you to, or what maybe the universe wanted you to. So there could be some things that come up from your past in the next 4 months that may have to do with sexual relationships with other people, or it may be just hit you intimately, and this can be past lives too. I mean, this is extremely expansive. So as far as what Jupiter has in store for you, whatever it is, Aries, I believe it's going to have something to do with a transformation, something dying and being reborn. Something could have died. There could have been a sexual relationship that died a long time ago for you, that is being reborn now that Jupiter is revisiting this 8th house. A lot of Aries are going to be feeling sexual again. It could be actually your sex drive. It could be actually your passion and your intimacy with others. Maybe some of you, a lot of Aries that I know, they're very single. And they just do well like that because you're the first house of self. So you guys are okay with being alone. But inside, you would love to share that passion with someone. You would love to share that fire with someone else. And since Aries often spend a lot of time alone or in relationships where they feel alone because they're stronger and more independent than the person they're with, what can make you feel this distance intimately? It can make you feel too much for people or not enough, too much or not enough. So Jupiter is going to be expanding these areas in your life. And you're going to gain a lot of wisdom from this, Aries. And there's going to be certain things that you thought died that are going to be reborn. And it could be the very passion in your sex life. It could be the very, the beliefs you had sexually. For instance, some of you could have been thinking, well, I'm alone. I've been so single. I just don't have that. Nothing clicks. Like, I don't click with anybody. I don't feel the need to have sex with anyone. And this could be a secret that you're keeping, right? This could be something that not many people know about you, Aries. Well, Jupiter is going to expand that by going into your past and ascending and kind of bringing these things to the forefront. And, there could be people from the past that come back into your life that spark a sexual interest. These could be certain business partners that you have, some sort of collaboration with that you have to keep the faith in. So, Aries, it's all about gaining knowledge in a different way. Learning, something from a higher standpoint about sex, about intimacy, about shared resources. So this is a very interesting area that this is hitting for you. And I hope this information helped. I would love to know some of your guys, and I know this is a very intimate part of the chart, so some of you may not want to straight up comment below your sexual secrets, but I have my information in the description box. So if you want to hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. I am not a celebrity. Some people are really timid to hit me up. It's like, just because you see my face on a screen, it does not mean that I'm unapproachable. I'm just me. I'm a real human being with meat and stuff. So I live in Michigan. I'm fine. It's cool. I'm a really cool person. So if you want to talk about any of this on a further level, please don't be shy to hit me up. I would love to talk more about what this energy could bring to you guys. But it was kind of interesting talking to you because Jupiter is in a very hidden place for you. So I feel that there's only so far that I can kind of expand on this information in one video. It's almost like it's a secret with you, because Jupiter is in a part of your chart where everything goes dark. Everything's kind of hidden. So for you, it's about going into this metaphorical dark room, and really for you, seeing is not believing. For you, think of yourself in a dark room, you're going to have to trust your instincts. You're going to have to trust what you really believe. When you're in a dark place like that, you have to get yourself out by faith. So stay positive, stay optimistic, Aries. You guys are the fire. You are the first sign. So keep that positive, optimistic energy about yourself and about your sex life and about your intimate beliefs, because there's something that you're learning deeper over the next 4 months. There's something that you can learn from this dark area. There's something that you can learn from this secretive kind of hidden energy, okay? So like I said, if you have any questions, I wanted these videos to just be a little bit shorter, but I'd love to talk with you guys more about this energy, okay? But that's what I have for you. Those are the notes that I took for you, and I hope this was helpful. So I will talk to you guys in your monthly videos soon. Bye, Aries.